The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. Blessed is he who in the name of charity and goodwill shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness. For he is truly his brother's keeper and finder of lost children. And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers. And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee. Ladies and gentlemen, the Church of Lazlo has begun.
Yo!
Yo!
How are you?
Hey, I've never been better. How about you?
Fantastic. I'd like to see your new Radke shirt. It tells me that you went out and had fun this weekend.
I did. I went out. I saw
Good
Radke.
for you.
I saw the band that fell from Earth, which is the Bowie tribute band. It's all the local musicians who do that thing. I have no idea how much time they spend putting that together. It's so many different local artists, from different projects.
Right.
It's got to take a long time to practice all that stuff, but it's cool. I'd heard people talk about it last year. Like, it's the greatest thing ever, and I didn't go to it. So I went this year. That was cool. And still had time to see Radke
Not
when
bad,
it was all
huh?
over. So not a bad little Saturday night.
Yeah.
I should say. And got the new Radke tee.
You look good.
While I was at it.
You look great.
I walk into the bottleneck as Radke's getting ready to go on, and man, right as they come out, it's just people are jumping around. There's like a mosh pit in front of the stage. Hell yeah!
Yeah, that's
rock and roll,
crazy.
baby.
Some rock and roll.
That place was a rockin' and a rolling.
It was a
That's
rockin' and a
right.
rolling.
Man.
Nice to see. They're good.
Yeah, I agree.
They're good. Also, your Lions are undefeated.
I know.
Technically.
What do you mean technically?
I wish I had a way. Wish I had a way to pull the audio this morning because they were going over all the different teams. And they said, and then the Lions, who are also technically undefeated.
That's not. No.
Two.
They're undefeated, you son.
Huh?
When you say all the people, you mean Snow Cone this morning?
No,
There's
it was like on
audio.
ESPN.
Who?
I don't know who it was.
Name names. Name names.
They were going through the winners.
Oh, I'll find them. Just name who.
They were going through the weekend
Who's
winners.
the who?
ESPN?
I think it was
ESPN, FS1. Name them. Name them. Name them.
I was listening to the...
What were you listening to?
The recap of the games. Over
Where
the
were you
weekend.
listening?
They said, we have this
Where
many
were you
teams,
listening?
And they said...
What were you listening on? No,
the
you
Lions.
weren't.
I promise, man. They said, and the Lions were also
You
technically undefeated
They said, just as they. I know who the they are.
He said,
it's the
whoever he
goddamn
was.
people on the text line, the people on my Twitter, and you two assholes in here. That's it. Everybody else is just saying they're undefeated.
They're saying the same thing. That's all.
Who's
it's okay.
they?
Whoever was giving this
Whoever.
recap. I thought, he used the word technically as well.
Yeah, that's what you thought.
But they waited till the last to explain why it was technically undefeated.
It's not anything bad. We're saying they're undefeated.
Stop there. Stop there.
They've just won fewer games than the other undefeated
Shut
teams.
up.
Right.
That's all.
Well, after the Chiefs have their bye and they're undefeated and other teams have won more, you're going to say they're technically undefeated
No, because they
too?
won't have a tie on their record.
There's a column for losses, and in both our
That's true.
team, that is a zero.
They're loss-free.
Yes.
They're loss-free.
That makes them undefeated.
Yes.
That's what we're saying. I don't know what the problem is here. They're technically undefeated.
Shut up. I swear to God.
But hey,
I swear
they played well, boy. Did they not play well?
Yeah.
They looked great, those Lions. I saw some highlights there. Yeah. Look at that. It was back and forth, and I was at the Chiefs game, but I was watching on my phone, and man, hell of a game. Hell of a game there. How about those Chiefs?
Yeah, that was fun, huh?
That was fun.
I love the Chiefs, man. They're fun to watch.
Yeah.
Fans are... God damn.
Keep it a little exciting at the end, Still exciting in the last couple minutes. So it was still obviously a chance for Baltimore there, and we were all kind of holding our hands. I like it when it's, when you're there till the end of the game and you're excited, and then it's all over, and they got enough time to run out the clock, and Mahomes starts putting his hands in the air to get the crowd going, and everyone goes nuts. It's great. Great.
3-0 feels good.
I see that face.
What?
I want to punch it. People are saying Nick Wright said it this morning on First Things First. Is that true?
Well, you'll have to ask him.
Is that where you heard it?
You'll have to ask him. I don't watch a whole lot of sports television. You know that about me. And if I do, That's who I tend to watch. He's
okay.
It's fine. About the only one I watch. Anyway, hell of a game. And that game last night was fun to watch.
Yeah,
if you
good
gave an
game.
S. Yeah. Those Browns. I don't understand, though. I am a little, as a Kansas City fan, a little like, okay, what's the deal with the Baker Mayfield in every commercial? They can't stop talking about Baker Mayfield, his swagger and all this. Dude, what? We get one commercial with Mahomes in it so far. I'm 1.5 or something like that. They're just acting like Baker Mayfield is a second coming of Christ or something.
He gives a better interview.
Is that what it is? They just
people are going to
like
get mad at me about this. Well,
No,
it's not only that. I think
that's a good answer.
His
if it's true.
on-camera skill is better.
Okay, I'll take that. That's fine.
He's just a little bit. He's got a little bit more.
Same reason Eli
something.
didn't do all the endorsements his brother did.
Right.
He also wasn't as good. I get it.
Right, but also Tom Brady's better, and he gets a lot of endorsements, but he doesn't talk a lot during them.
Yes.
And Peyton talks a lot during all of them. Peyton's really good on camera.
Yes. Okay. That's fine.
And I think Mahomes will get better, but I don't think that. Look, man, he's the best quarterback in the game, but that camera part he'll have to grow into a little bit.
Gotcha. Okay. That's fair.
It's like when they try to make Andrew Luck a commercial star.
Yeah.
Like, it's just
You're
not
right.
going to happen.
You're right. We don't know that. We don't.
And we saw it kind of when was it the ESPYs when he had to go up there and read the thing next to Jared Goff. Mm-hmm. Jared Goff looked like he had done that before. Mm-hmm. And by the way, it's not a big deal. Mahomes looked nervous.
Yeah.
Jared Goff looks nervous when the pass rush is on him. Mahomes doesn't. It's fine. It's fine.
Although Mahomes, he's done some of those late night talk shows now, quite a few of them, and he was on the Tonight Show maybe twice, at least once, and he looked pretty good. I think he'll get there if he's not there. But if that's your answer and you think that's the reason, I'll buy that. That's fine. I hadn't thought of that. I was just watching it, and I was like, what's with all the Baker Mayfield stuff? Nonstop Baker Mayfield.
Man.
What?
Just like Slimfasts' mom isn't technically a lady of the night.
Okay.
Oh, you're right. She's not technically one.
Let's keep this about whatever the topic is, which currently was sports. It doesn't have to be. We can change that. I'm fine. It's just that's what we had been talking about. There is so much that I want to talk about today, though.
What?
There's a local.
I don't know that anything happened. What happened?
There's a local story that I want to talk about that is completely insane. I'm sitting there up late last night reading about it. Have you heard about this person who's being charged with murder but didn't murder anyone because of a law in Kansas that allows you to charge someone with murder even if they don't murder anyone?
What?
Yeah, I really want to talk about this, but
That seems like
it's insane, and it's a local story. It's making national news because it's a crazy story. But also, we have to talk about the Trip for Two at 2 because we have to
that's
announce
right. I forgot.
the new Trip for Two at 2. What this week's Trip for Two at 2 is.
Do we have a promo for that?
Yeah. So here it
Let's
is.
listen
And
to
then
it.
at the end, you'll hear this week's Trip.
In our ongoing effort to improve the station, we decided to take a closer look at ratings and see if we could figure out who's dragging this ship down. Turns out, it's the Church of Lazlo, specifically the 2 o'clock hour. And perhaps you didn't know that the Church of Lazlo starts at 2. Perhaps you are aware and you're specifically avoiding them. Whatever the case, we decided it's time to try a good old-fashioned bribe. Introducing the Church of Lazlo's Trip for 2 at 2. The premise is simple. Listen to Lazlo every weekday in the 2 p.m. hour. Every day, the guys will get someone qualified for a trip out of town. Then, just listen on Friday. If Lazlo calls the last 4 digits of your number, you just call back in 9 minutes and 65 seconds, and boom, baby, you could be on your way to see cool bands in awesome cities.
This week, we're sending you to the Austin City Limits Music Festival, where you can check out artists like The Rockin' Tours, Sam Fender, Third Eye Blind, and a load more. The Church of Lazlo's Trip for 2 at 2, brought to you by Interscope Geffen, A&M Records, and The Alternative 96.5. The Buzz.
Sorry, I turned our mics off. I'm sitting there going, boom, ACL, and none of that was on the air.
ACL, that's a good trip.
That's a good trip. So,
Guns N' Roses?
oh, Guns N' Roses on? I didn't even see them on the list.
Tame Impala's there.
Yeah.
Childish Gambino.
Let me see.
Very
got it
exciting.
The undercard's really good, too.
Very
you don't like Guns N' Roses
exciting.
now?
Huh?
No, I'm saying it's also really good. There's a lot of good bands there.
Guns N' Roses, Mumford & Sons, Gambino, The Cure,
Oh, that's right. The Cure.
Cardi B,
Yeah.
I saw
Billie
that.
Eilish, Tame Impala, Robin, The Rockin' Tours,
Yeah.
Lizzo, Brittany Howard.
Slimfasts loves Lizzo.
One song like everybody else.
What?
But I love one song.
You told me you guys danced to her like every
I
day.
can't name more than the one song.
Name the
That's
one
a that's a
song.
big
What's the one
big.
song?
You know what? I can't even name the one song. You're right. Some Men, whatever it's called.
Truth Hurts.
Truth Hurts. That's a big music festival. Really, really, really
Yes.
big music festival.
If you haven't been, it's a lot of fun, too.
So that is the trip this week. Now, the way it works is you will hear it only in the 2 p.m. hour, only Monday through Thursday on this very program. You will hear us tell you, hey, it's time now to get qualified. Or you'll hear a sounder, either one, that says text 2 p.m. to 96500. You got 10 minutes to get qualified. Everyone who texts that and follows the rules there, text the right thing, they get qualified. We don't just get one person qualified. We get anybody qualified within that 10-minute window who does it correctly, right?
Boom.
That's it. Then you listen. You only need to get qualified the one time. Then you listen on Friday in the 2 p.m. hour, and Lazlo will call out the last 4 digits of a qualified number. If it sounds like your number, call back. We'll see if it's you. If it's you, that's it. You're off. Simple, right?
Seems pretty easy.
Last
Seems
week,
pretty
Raquel
easy.
won tickets to Cage the Elephant in
Mexico City. Yeah, so
Not bad.
now this week trying to send someone to Austin City Limits. Huge lineup there. Huge, as Bernie would say.
You didn't ask me what I did this weekend.
What did you do this weekend?
Nothing.
Oh, come on.
I had the
Bet you
kids, man.
Sports and
got
stuff.
some. We went and got haircuts. Went out for dinner. Had some steaks. You know, played some baseball, some football.
Did you go to the B?
The Applebee's?
Yeah.
No, why?
Oh, you said you went out for steaks.
They like Outback, man. I'm sorry. I told
Oh,
them Uncle
that's okay.
Slimfasts was at the B, but
That's okay. I like Outback too. I'm just not allowed in there anymore, but that's fine.
Went to Outback. It's a 30-minute wait at Outback.
There should be.
Really?
Have
Yeah.
Have
That's fine. I mean,
had
I
that
like
Caesar
Outback. I was
dressing?
just shocked. Like,
That
goddamn,
is
man.
shocking.
I expect that. I'd be surprised if I went to Lee Summit on a Saturday and they said it's only half hour. I'd be like, Mom, guess what? It's
Lot
only
like
half
it
an
is.
hour. Normally it's like 2 hours. And she's like, come pick me up, leave me at the house, and come back and get me. Yeah, people wait for that, man. Got to wait for the good stuff. And then what was the other big thing that I wanted to talk to you about? I mentioned this girl's being charged with murder, right? And then I wanted to talk to you about that. We have this new trip for 2 at 2 that I wanted to talk to you about, right? Yes, I remember the other thing. Paying social media influencers to be your friends. I really wanted to talk to you about that because I think I might be in.
To pay social media influencers to
I
be
think
your
it could be
friends?
worth it. Everyone's laughing about it, but I think it could be worth it.
Who would you pay?
I don't know yet, and that's
I don't
why
even
I would
know
need your
who
help.
social
Me
media
neither.
influencers are.
I don't either, but that's why you find out, figure out the ones that are on the take, and then, see if it looks like someone you'd like to have as a friend.
Okay, you can hang out with like PewDiePie or something?
I don't think you can hang out with them.
Oh.
You pay them to
like
follow you and stuff.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Friend you on social media or whatever.
Oh, that's a good little...
You see?
Yeah.
And then you can say, oh, look who follows me or look who liked my thing.
I must be really awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's so many
get it.
influencers out there. It's not just the
And maybe
big
if you had
names.
some sort of talent or something. And I mean that, like maybe if you were like, I don't know what.
juggler or something.
I don't know what PewDiePie's talent is, except for he's entertaining and people like him, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if you were to say, what is your talent? It would be, it's not a finite thing like I can run with a football or something.
Mm-hmm.
But if you had that type of talent, whatever that is, and by the way, I'm not dismissing his talent, I just don't know what to call it. Maybe if you had that talent and PewDiePie was following you, then maybe he'd be like, God damn, I know you paid me to follow you, but you're really talented, and maybe he could help you make $1 gazillion too.
Yeah.
If you were good at it.
Yeah.
And if you weren't good at it, then who cares?
Right.
All right, I'm in. I'll pay somebody.
Me too. Okay, well, first, should we
I'd
get...
rather pay someone to have sex with me.
Well, right, that's obvious, and that's a tale as old as time. Should we get people qualified now for the trip for 2 at 2?
Well, hit
Can
the
we do
thing
that?
and we
Can
can
we do
quit
it?
talking.
No, we'll just tell them to do it
Why
now.
don't we hit the thing? I like the
Because I want to
thing.
continue this conversation.
I like the thing.
I want to continue the
Can't we
conversation.
just hit the thing and then talk
I don't
after
know the
it?
thing off the top of my head right now. I
Fine.
just want people to text. Snowcone can start it, right?
I don't think it's fair.
And then
It says
people
listen to this thing.
No, it doesn't. It says listen for us. And when you tell us, when you hear us tell you to text, either via the cue to text thing or
Yeah.
us telling you to text, that's
Fine.
it.
If you want to get qualified for the trip for 2 at 2, this week we're sending you to ACL. Text 2 p.m. That's the number 2 and p.m. to 96500 now.
Here's your chance. Text 2 p.m. to 96500 within 10 minutes to get qualified for this week's Church of Lazlo trip for 2 at 2. That's 2 p.m. The number 2 and p.m. All one word. Text it to 96500. Got it? We good? Okay, now text.
Snowcone did that. He just dragging stuff over
You said
in
to
there.
play it, right? You said to play it.
He's on a delay in there. He's listening to the
mental
airfeed.
delay.
I wanted to talk just a little bit more about the influencer thing, because this article that I read said that there are ethical questions that could be involved in this.
Like what?
That's my
Ethical questions on social media?
Like ethical questions about paying someone to be a friend. So they give this person's name to give an example. I'll just call her Gabby. And they give her a tagger. She's an artist and an influencer. She has 94 plus thousand followers on Instagram.
Wow.
That sounds like a lot, right? Mm-hmm. Around 437 of them are her patrons. They pay $3.33 a month through Patreon to gain exclusive access to her close friends' stories, right?
Okay.
So in these, she posts video and text rants and personal updates and theories and all this stuff. Oh, there's even priority advice sessions, and then access to her book list as well.
That's about $1,300 a month.
It's from what? No, $3.33 a month.
Then there's 400 of them, you said.
Oh, what she's making. I'm sorry, I'm a dumbass. Yeah. It says from $9 to $22 a month, her followers also get exclusive weekly recaps, including extensive writing about important experiences or reflections of the week, a mantra to carry into the week, as well as 10% off code to her merch. Have you ever seen, like, if you're on Instagram and there's some, I'll just say it, occasionally there's like a hot girl, and she's like, ooh. And then she says on her story, like, hey, and she says, like, hey, follow my Patreon or sign up for my Patreon. And I go, I don't know exactly what that means. I assume that means she wants me to, like, sign up for a Snapchat session or something. And Snowcone has my password to Snapchat, so I haven't been able to log in years. So I didn't really understand what that means. Is Patreon through Instagram, Snowcone? You're the
No, I think it's
social
its own
media
thing.
person. It's its own thing.
Yeah.
So you pay, and then what? When I go on her Instagram and look at these things, do I get automatically redirected to the Patreon, or are they just two separate things that I check?
I don't know.
I don't either. But I like that idea. I don't think I have anything worthy of selling people. People aren't going to pay to see pictures of my dogs, on Patreon. Like,
You never know that.
if you want to see my dog roll over, join my Patreon. But there's been some Patreons out there.
How many
I've wanted to
followers do you
join.
have on Instagram?
I don't know, like 7,000 or 8,000, something like that.
Say you had, let's just say 10.
I'd like to have more. Slimfast 965, I think.
Let's say you had 10,000.
Yeah.
If you charged them 25 cents a month,
Yeah,
that's
25
something.
cents. Yeah, but would people pay that? I don't even know if they'd pay that.
2,500
Taking the time to, like, put in
month?
a card, even, like, for Slimfast.
I bet you could get people to pay you 25 cents a month.
What kind of exclusive content could I give to my Patreon subscribers?
Figure it out.
Penis shows! What? Oh my god, I can't believe I didn't think about that.
Charge more then.
Charge more?
Don't
Or
charge
less?
just a quarter for a penis show.
Okay.
Have
Thanks,
some
Dad.
self-respect.
Thanks, Dad. All right, thanks. Anyway, obviously that person on Instagram is not the only one that offers the service, they said. They talk about this other woman who offers followers friendship subscription service for $2 per month. They gain access to her close friends' stories on Instagram, $100 to become a closest friend, okay? $100. Getting a monthly 1-hour Skype call. So now we're into something. We're really in the weeds here. If you pay me $5 a month, you and I can have a one-on-one Skype conversation, or $100 a month or whatever, have a one-on-one Skype conversation. Now, aren't we just webcamming? Isn't that
Well, I
what
don't
this
know,
is?
maybe
I guess they just want
We're
personal
so
advice.
worked up
or-
about sex in this country, but what's the difference between that and a hooker?
Between webcamming or...
Between just paying $100 for, my mental time or my physical time? What?
It's legal to hire an escort as long as you don't have sex.
Right, but that's my thing. Why are we so caught up on sex
I
now?
don't know. Religion, probably. Really don't know.
Seems like if you can do this, you can do anything.
Well, loneliness is on the rise, they said. So they said, whether the intention of these people is to...
But that's what I guess I didn't say that, but it's interesting that they said it. You said it right after me. Because really what you're doing, if an hour Skype call with someone you don't know, it serves the same purpose as a sex worker, which is to fill a void of loneliness, right?
Well, that's what they say.
A need for connection of some sort, right?
Yeah.
So what's the difference?
That's exactly what one of the paragraphs in this article was discussing is people are lonely, and whether or not these people are starting these Patreons because they actually want to help or because they just want to build their brand, does it matter? Does it still help the person who's on the receiving end who's paying for it, who says, I want to talk to this person, and it gives me someone to talk to? I don't know. You can pay to match with a compatible person on a dating site, right? Or pay to have...
you could do a puppet show, not a penis show. Slimfast puppets, the Patreon puppets. A Patreon puppet playhouse.
Yeah.
Patreon puppet playhouse. Mm-hmm. Why don't you do this?
What was your character's name?
Let's not worry about that.
Timmy
because
the
let's
Wolf
not
or
worry.
something?
Let's not worry about that because
Someone's
trying to steal it already.
Gary?
So, let's keep it off the air.
Someone's trying to steal it.
Yeah,
They're trying to steal your intellectual property?
Yes, exactly. I'm trying to trademark
Gary the
this
Wolf?
stuff.
To China?
Patent these characters, trademark these characters.
And do
It's
us
all
Timmy
stuff-
the Lamb, I think.
It's all stuff that I'm
That's
having a
right.
real hard time. A lot of paperwork.
Timmy the Lamb and
China's trying to steal your intellectual
Lot of
property.
paperwork,
Trump's
huh?
been talking about that.
Not China.
Gary-
Well, I don't know. It could be China.
Gary the Wolf.
Lot
He's
of
like a
people
real
out
cool
there.
guy. Wears like a leather jacket. He's like, hey, guys.
And his mom was Nancy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nancy, leave me alone. I got to ride my Harley.
That's right.
It wasn't his mom, dumbasses. It was his mama.
His mama.
What?
Yes, his mama.
What?
It was his mama. He was on his motorcycle. He said, "Oh, I got to get out of here." It was his mama. You got
His
to do the
mom.
voice.
Isn't that the same thing as mom?
His mama. His girlfriend.
His baby mama.
Oh, I thought it was his mom.
No,
He said mom.
I said mama. He said mama.
Who, Gary?
The wolf.
Gary the Wolf.
The wolf said mama. That's what the wolf said. He throws her on the back of the bike. You know, that's his mama. It's not his actual mom. Anyway, the idea of paying
Well,
for
there you go. The
friendship is a
Patreon-
whole new thing.
Yeah,
and
the Patreon puppet playhouse is a good idea.
I don't have to put on a puppet show. You could just, if people, all right, how about this? I'm not going to say names, obviously. You may have received messages. Do you receive messages from someone? I think I received them via Instagram. From a guy
People
who
were saying it was Charlie the Lamb. Was it Charlie?
from a guy who just
That's
wants to
right.
talk. Are you guys getting messages from this guy who just wants to talk a lot?
No.
He just asks you how you're doing,
No.
tells
No.
you how his life
On
is.
Instagram?
No.
Okay, so I have someone who does that quite frequently. Just wants to chat about life.
You wanna charge him?
I don't know this person. I've never met this person.
So you want to charge him money?
No. What I'm saying is, you have a person here who I am assuming, maybe I shouldn't be assuming, I am assuming is lonely, wants someone to talk to, is hoping to find that someone on the other end of a Instagram DM, right? Like, he hears us on the radio and thinks, I feel like I know them maybe, and I'll try and talk
I think this
to
guy
them.
knows who you're talking about now.
But yeah, it's not bad. I'm not saying that it's bad. I part of why I like radio, even when I was a kid, was because it's local, and I felt like these people, there's a possibility that you could run into them, and you get to call in, and I felt like I was, real close to having a connection with them, Especially if I called in and got on the air or something. And now it's social media. You send a message. So I totally get that, and I'm sure you've had those before, where you've had people who just want to talk.
Never.
The point is, how would you feel about saying, like, boy, this person wants to talk a lot. I don't really want to talk a lot. If I'm going to talk to them, I should charge them. Would you feel okay about that?
Your time's worth
like,
money.
this person's lonely and they just want a friend, so I'm going to charge
Your
them.
time's worth money.
Either be their friend or don't. Either decide that you're going to be the kind of person who... I shouldn't even say be the kind of person. That you have time and you are the kind of person that's going to engage with these people or not. But it feels weird to just say, I will, if you pay me. Then we can talk about how your day was. I don't know. I guess it's the same as an escort.
Yeah, you could be
I feel bad for some of those people.
an emotional escort.
Yeah.
Like an emotional rescue animal.
can pay-
With Slimfast, the emotional escort.
I thought the idea is interesting. I also thought it would be interesting if I could get some sort of like top-tiered friend to really push my status, on Insta or something. If I could get someone big to just like stuff. Maybe one of the Kardashians. How do you do that?
I'll like your stuff if you want.
I know, but I need like the Kardashians to do it.
Oh, I'm not big enough.
I need like someone real big.
Okay, fine.
Well, the Kardashians are too hard to get. But what about Mandy Moore? What's she doing now, Snowcone?
She's got new music coming out.
Oh,
or
yeah,
something.
she's got a new song.
She does music? I'm talking about Mandy Moore, the actor from NBC. Oh, yes, she did Loving You Like Candy, Missing You Like Candy. I completely forgot that.
She started as a singer. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. I forget that. Kind of like you forget that Jennifer Lopez started as an actor. It's so confusing. But anyway, I need
don't
someone
ever
at that
forget.
level. How many friends does she have? How many followers? Give me someone. Give me Kirsten Dunst. That's who I need.
Kirsten Dunst?
Yeah, she's got a show out.
Okay.
Get me her. Get her to like my stuff. Maybe if she could comment on something. What does that cost?
Got 1.6 million followers. You can do
that
better.
sounds like
Not
a
enough.
lot. That sounds like a lot, though.
Not enough.
To
You're gonna
start,
need more.
that sounds like a high dollar
You're gonna do
point.
better.
You can check Mandy Moore.
I'd like to start with someone who's at like the 500,000 mark or something.
Mandy Moore's got 3.8.
Maybe I
This
could
person
get...
says I pay $50 a month to be a part of Slim's Puppet Playhouse Pals.
Boom.
And 10 of those people, you're in the money.
Yeah. I thought it was an interesting idea. I'm intrigued, I must say. But I haven't made up my mind. I'd like to find someone. I mean, obviously, you're going to have to find someone who's willing, but just because they're not advertising it doesn't mean they're not willing.
No, that's true.
You know, you could find somebody. Okay, what about like a Dan Savage? Okay, he podcasts, he charges people for exclusive content. He knows the game. He's reachable. We've had him on the show. Maybe I could get him to like some stuff and comment a couple times, like, good take, Slimfast. That's why why'd you look at me like that?
Because everybody will know he's lying.
No, they won't. Not if it was
And
a
he
good
says
take.
good, funny job.
Not if it, no, like, I agree with your point.
I know,
Right on.
I know.
What
That's how
this
we'll
guy
know that
said
he's dumb.
with the hand pointing
They'll
up.
know that he's lying.
No.
They're like, oh, he got paid to say Slimfast is funny.
No. Or, okay, just what about, he could comment to say something like, you know, oh my God, your dogs are the cutest dogs on Instagram. Something like that, right? Under a picture of the dogs or something. Right? And people go, is that Dan Savage?
I'm done
Right?
with this.
You don't even want to take this through. This is the future. You're just done with it. You are done with it. You're done with all of it. Might as well just give up. Because this is where we're headed, man. This is the future, man. We got to figure this stuff out. Snowcone's given up. He didn't even know it was a thing.
what about,
He didn't even know what Patreon is. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. It could be Patron.
I think it's Patreon. Like,
Like
Patron.
Patron. Yeah. Okay. I get it. I'd like to find out.
Penis Puppet Playhouse, people say we're missing the obvious here.
I don't wanna
If
play
you
that.
did Charlie the Lamb with a penis, and I'll do Gary the Wolf with my penis,
I don't want to be that guy.
and then Gary will beat up Charlie. That would be fun.
Yeah.
You want to do a penis playhouse?
No, I don't.
Why?
Because that's not what I do with my puppetry.
Oh, you're an artist now?
I don't do rape, sex stuff.
Well, I didn't say rape.
Well, whatever. With you, it leads there.
No, it doesn't. How dare you? I'm aghast.
Yeah. A cat.
How dare you? I'm just saying a nice old puppet fight for the camera.
Find me someone in that sweet spot of 100 to 500,000 followers, Snowcone. Find me that person.
I think you could get Maddie from 1975. He likes you. Remember when he was on air talking to you?
He does like me.
Didn't he ask for your phone number or something?
I think they were lying about that. I gave it to him, but I don't think he saved it.
I think you could reach out and I think you could get his follow. That'd be big, man.
It's not like they gave me his number, you know. They said, hey, he wants your number. It's not like they said, here's his, so you know who's texting. It's yeah.
I think you can make this happen. He likes you.
I think you
Seems
got
like
a
a
better
stretch.
shot of us making a lot of money with the penis playhouse cockfight.
He's way too famous, man. I need someone in
I
like
don't
the
know, man.
Chickens. We could do that.
50,000 to 500,000.
We could dress our penises like chickens.
And Lazlo can do his own penis chicken thing. I'd see where that goes. Maybe it works. Maybe I'm wrong and I'm bad at forecasting, but I don't want to be a part of that.
Oh, the penis chicken?
Do the chicken penis thing. Whatever. That's fine.
Chicken penis.
It's sold out everywhere. You can't get a chicken penis.
I'm telling you,
to save your life.
I
Wait in line
just
for
said
hours.
it and started laughing because dollar signs started rolling around in
course
my
they
head
do.
like a cartoon.
Bring your own
Old
bun.
chicken penis.
Bring your own bun to the chicken penis show.
Man, I'm about to make a lot of money.
Also, Carl, the drunk ticket fairy. Oh, I shouldn't say he's a drunk. I don't know. He seems like a drunk to me.
You're going to be so mad
don't
when
need
I'm a
him suing
famous
me.
puppeteer. You'll be like, but I'm a puppeteer. I'm like, chicken penis. People love them.
But Carl, that old so-and-so, he's got tickets for Grandson this hour. Grandson. I'm careful how I say it in front of Lazlo, because if I said grandson, he'd go like, you, Midwestern redneck. So I say grandson. Grandson at the Truman.
It's not Branson.
Well, I don't know. If I say grandson, you get angry. So I don't know. I say grandpa, grandma, you get angry. My grandpa was here. My
Why do you
grandma
have to
was
say
here.
grandson? You got a grandson?
The band's name is Grandson. You weren't listening. Grandson at Truman on 10/19, which I think the 10th month is October. Does that sound right?
Yes, it does.
And then he's got tickets for Bleached at the Riot Room on October 1st in the 5 o'clock hour, so we'll be listening for that. And then Headlines at 3. And then I don't know if Nick's too busy to call today or not. I know...
we got a lot of stuff going on, I'll tell you that right now.
We do, and I went.
And I've been working out this chicken dick bit.
You already forgot the name. Come on, man. You got to be consistent. Consistency is key.
I told you I'm working on it. It's what do they call that? I'm workshopping it, man.
He's workshopping.
I'm workshopping it.
This is the Church of Lazlo on 95 Buzz.
Flashing with paparazzi involved in an incident.
These infected monkeys.
This is Headlines on the Church of Lazlo.
Festive monkeys.
Yo. How are you?
I'm great. I'm ready to do this. It's been 2 days, 3 days.
Gonna hit me with that news and information, Sugar Wiener?
News and information. Donald Trump, president of these United States of America, may have asked the Ukraine for a little dirt on a potential opponent.
Yeah?
Presidential opponent, Joe Biden, and may have said, look, you want help from us? Give me some dirt on this opponent. And some people say, that's illegal, you can't do that. And other people say, no, that's definitely illegal, you can't do that. But then they say, but he didn't really do that. And then they say, but he did do that, which is what Giuliani said. He said he didn't, but then he did. Trump says, look, nothing inappropriate happened, just forget about it. And Democrats and others are saying, that's it. It's time to call for impeachment hearings now.
I said absolutely nothing wrong. It was perfect. We don't want our people like Vice President Biden and his son creating to the corruption already in the Ukraine.
Because they're trying to accuse his son of having ties to the Ukraine, which is this dirt that they wanted to get on Biden. It would look or appear, and Trump.
It was perfect.
It was perfect. I didn't do it. I didn't say anything inappropriate. It was perfect. Like just nailed it without being illegal.
It was perfect.
Now there's rumors that there's transcripts of this conversation. The White House might release the transcripts of the conversation.
Sure.
So I'm sure this will go somewhere. Greta Thunberg. She is the environmental activist who has been really just kind of abused by people who don't believe in global warming or just like to pick on kids or I don't know, just a lot of people. It's weird to see grown adults, grown women calling her names and calling her.
We're talking about that nerd.
Nerd. You climate nerd.
I'm just kidding. By the way, people got mad at me the other day for saying that. I was just kidding. I was trying. It's you know what? Forget it.
Just forget it. Just forget it.
Either you get what I'm doing there or you don't.
So
it's fine.
She's an environmentalist. She's a Swedish. And,
she's a Swedish?
She's a Swedish. I don't know what that means. I don't know if
Swede?
That's... Could be a religion. Could be her...
She's a Swede?
Could be her last name.
I don't think they say she's a Swedish.
She's a Swedish environmentalist, I said.
Oh, no, you didn't. You just said she's a Swedish.
No, sorry. I meant to say she's a Swedish environmentalist. Or maybe I said she's Swedish. She's a Swede. Anyhow, she's good. She is good, man. I was not expecting. Did you see her speaking today? I was almost brought to tears. She's talking to the UN during this climate session. And you watch politicians and professionals speak at these types of things. They get behind the dais. They've got their teleprompters or they've got their notes. To watch her speak, now she had notes. I'm not going to lie and say that there were no papers there. But I was watching her talk to the camera, and a lot of this, either she had it memorized and she's great at acting, or a lot of this was coming from the heart. Because this whole clip here that I'll play you, I did not see her look down at her notes. I did not see her looking at a teleprompter. This was just her speaking, and she seemed very emotional. And I got to say, this kid's got a future. Well, I mean, other than the fact that it's going to be too hot to live here. But if it weren't for that, this kid has a future.
Sure.
This is all wrong. I shouldn't be up here. I should be back in school on the other side of the ocean. Yet, you all come to us young people for hope. How dare you? You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words, and yet I'm one of the lucky ones. People are suffering. People are dying. Entire ecosystems are collapsing. We are in the beginning of a mass extinction, and all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth.
And all you can talk about is economy and fairy tales. She's
Man, get a
good.
penny, sir. Shut your mouth, Oliver Twist.
Yeah. Well, first of all, she's a Swedish. And second of all, that was good stuff. Like, I'm ready to get a T-shirt with her name on it. She's awesome.
May I get a sandwich, sir?
She's not British.
Shut up.
Oliver Twist. Come on. She's
Listen
good.
here.
Lazlo, we already established that no one understands sarcasm. So now they think you're picking on a 16-year-old Swedish.
But, sir, it was a tale of two cities.
Stop.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
Admit that you like her and admit that that was a great speech that she gave at the UN. I mean, that was insane. That was really, really,
I'd only
really
let her
good.
clean my chimney. That's the only thing I'd let her.
She's not English. She's a Swedish. I done told you. God.
That's it.
She's Swedish, like
Clean
the chef,
my chimney.
like the chef, Ooh, the ferny. That's Swedish. That's Swedish. Well, please, sir, may I have another? That's not
that's what she's
Swedish.
saying.
That's not what she's saying. She's saying, ooh, the ferny. That's what she's saying.
How dare you?
Stop. She's a goddamn hero, and I thought we could have a serious moment here, talk about how awesome this girl is. And instead, we got to crack jokes. She's good. She's real good. Come on, guys. And then Fox and Friends, they mock her. That's who's supposed to be mocking her. You expect them to mock her.
Yeah.
Their little panel of douche nozzles. But us, we're supposed to say, hey.
I love her.
She's great. I love her, too. Not the same way Snow Cone loves her. But I love her, too. I love her for her activism and her willingness to fight and just take criticism and not be deterred. She's a badass, and we all here at the Church of Lazlo unite in our support for her. Correct?
Yeah, what are you going to do? Are you going to make some changes like she's asking?
No, I'm supporting her vocally. I'm saying I support her,
Okay,
and
but she's
right.
asking for changes to be made.
Okay, what do you want me to do? I've been using this same plastic bottle drink Kratom for 2 years now. I probably have BPA cancer or whatever that stuff's called. But what else can I do? I'm doing everything I can. I don't have kids. That's the biggest thing you can do. Don't have kids.
Stop driving that big gay truck.
I don't have kids. And it doesn't look like they're happening, so I think, I guess that's my part.
So many, what?
Arresting 6-year-olds and 8-year-olds.
Racist accents. They don't like, the text line doesn't like the racist accents.
Racist accents.
Well, it can't be racist if they're the same race as us, right?
I think we get a pass.
You should be able to.
Yeah.
Like your family's all English and stuff. You're all proud of that. You go look at, this founding father was my uncle or something. Whatever.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, just because my dad was adopted and we don't know where I came from. Who knows? I could be a Swedish. Maybe that's my ancestry.
A Swedish?
Yeah. You know, like the chef. Do you remember him?
Yeah, how does the voice go?
That guy.
May I have another, sir?
How do you feel about arresting 6-year-olds, 8-year-olds, like handcuffing them, fingerprinting
Sounds like
them?
she wants porridge.
Like Oliver Twist?
Yeah.
How do you feel about arresting 6-year-olds and 8-year-olds, cuffing them, fingerprinting them, booking them? Book them, Dano. You got this 6-year-old here.
What'd they do?
She threw a tantrum at school.
Executor.
I guess another way of putting that would be public disobedience. Public.
Sure.
What do they call that? Public
disobedience?
It's not disobedience. It's public.
Being an asshole.
What's it called when you go to Chiefs game? And the cops see you being the way that you're being there. What's that
Public
called?
Nuisance.
A public nuisance. Yeah, whatever. Anyway,
smarmy.
God bless you, sir. Bless your soul. Well, a 6-year-old threw a tantrum at school. She was arrested. She was charged with battery for this tantrum. Yeah, she's black. That's what they do. They arrest and fingerprint. I don't know if it's because she's black. I assume it's because she's black. Some people are crying racism. I guess I'm one of them. But there have been other kids that have been arrested in the news. We've talked about other kids being arrested in the news. They were also black. But I'm sure at some point somewhere a white kid got put in cuffs who was 6 years old and booked for throwing a tantrum.
Really?
The family's not real happy about it.
When 6-year-old Kaya Roll was arrested Thursday at Lucius and Emma Nixon Academy in Orlando, her grandmother, Marilyn Kirkland, couldn't believe the call.
Say there was an incident and she kicked somebody and she's being charged.
Kirkland says even after she explained that Kaya's outburst was likely the result of a medical condition, the 6-year-old was still charged with battery.
I said, she has a sleep disorder, sleep apnea. He says, well, I have sleep apnea and I don't behave like that.
So that was the medical condition.
Sleep apnea makes you kick people?
that part I was a little confused about. But look, I don't have sleep apnea.
She said she was like tired and cranky.
They said she has sleep apnea and that it can cause these tantrums. I don't know. The Orlando Police Department said that it's now investigating the actions taken by the school resource officer who arrested her and another 8-year-old student in a separate event the same day last week. So this officer arrested a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old.
He did?
Yeah, in the same week. The resource officer, they call him an officer, I think, is accused of not following the department's policy regarding...
I know I'm weak.
Jesus
Trump
Christ.
would lose his mind by now.
Talk about chimneys or something, and suddenly you're sneezing. Just turn your mic off. Cough button also works for sneeze. The police department, I told you that. They're pending an outcome, whatever. They arrested a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old in the same week. Try not doing that. There's got to be a better way. Take them to the principal's office. For us, they just gave us a pink slip, and they had to call your mommy at
Firing squad
at work. Oof, did not like
Firing
it.
squad.
Did not like it when Mom had to come to work to pick me up from Miss Hardy's office. That was no fun.
Public indecency.
No fun at all. That's when you're naked, right? Public drunkenness? Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Maybe that's what happens to me.
Yeah, drunk in public.
Mike Pence. Apparently this guy's like heartbeat away from being the president. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Technically.
Yeah.
So I guess he's next in line, next in kin for Trump. He's this like white conservative Christian,
What the hell did you put in here?
Scared of women kind of fella.
You guys trying to kill me?
Yeah, he was way better. I guarantee he hit the sneeze button when he sneezed. You don't become vice president of the United States by just sneezing into the microphone like that for years. And they're like, you know what? We'd like to move you up to governor, maybe one day vice president. No, that doesn't happen.
I'm clearly sick.
Oh, you're clearly sick.
Could be dying.
You're going to blame it on a medical condition? Medical condition is called not taking your Zyrtec, which is sitting in the office. Go take it. We have to feed it to you every day. Come on. Come here. Come on. We have to wrap it in peanut butter and feed it to him. We have to trick it. And then sometimes he spits it out. He'll hold it in his mouth for half an hour. You think he swallowed the goddamn thing. And then, boom, I see it laying over there by his mic after he leaves at work some nights just covered in peanut butter.
Will you go give me my Zyrtec?
Yes.
So Mike Pence.
Oh, to hell with Mike Pence. He's a dumb son of a bitch, and I hate him.
Is the vice president of the United States. See, now, is that sarcasm?
No.
Everything's been sarcasm today. And then you say, oh, he's a dumb son of a bitch. If I was following along, I think that means you love him. He's your favorite. Mike Pence
you have to be able to tell the difference.
Took an 8-car motorcade to an area in Michigan,
Mackinac Island,
where you're not allowed to have cars. It's called Mackinac Island. And
looks like Mackinac.
Cars have been banned there for a long time. I don't know why. Nobody lives in Michigan. I think that's the kind of stuff we can't. I'm kidding. It's a heartland or something, or the birthplace of.
We're in the heartland,
the Midwest. That's what I said. It's the heartland or something.
Here,
I know. So then I clarified and said it's the birthplace of the Midwest, Motown, Big Three. Middle class. How's that? There you go. Birthplace of the middle class. Anyhow, Mike Pence decided to go to this island. I don't know what he's doing there. Maybe he needs a little
vacationing.
Maybe he wants to vacation. Maybe he wants to relax a little bit.
It's nice up there.
What else do you go to Mackinac Island for? I just know the Seinfeld episode about the Mackinac peaches, which I never knew that was a real place. Are they talking about
It's cherries.
They have cherries there. In Seinfeld, they talked about these peaches, or were they nectarines? Peaches, Mackinac peaches. Anyhow, Mike Pence drove this big motorcade with all these Tahoes and Suburbans, and some people said, you're not allowed to have cars, you're a dick. And then other people said, he's vice president, who cares?
Vice President Mike Pence arrived in Mackinac Island to speak at a Republican leadership conference over the weekend, but it's how he got there and then was stirring up some controversy. Vice President Pence traveled to and from the airport in an 8-vehicle motorcade, the first ever motorcade on the island. Well, that's because, as you know, cars are generally banned from the island, and people went on social media to voice their opinion on the matter, calling it outrageous. Others, however, saying that it was no big deal.
So what are you, outrageous or no big deal? I think there's plenty of other things we could be worried about this administration doing other than driving cars around Michigan. How banned are cars there? That's a serious question. I don't know.
You're not allowed to have cars there.
But do you get permits to have a vehicle there if you're a business owner, stuff like that? Are there no cars on the island anywhere?
No cars there. You park and then that's it. And then you have it's like an old towny thing.
Right. I didn't know if there was certain people get cars there, because I was reading people's responses on social media. This is disgusting. I'm in disbelief that this is allowed to happen. And I'm like, have you been watching the news at all? The last couple of years, you're in disbelief that this was allowed to happen. I don't know if you know the other stuff that's going on right now, but anyway, huh?
What else is going on?
I just told you Trump calling Ukraine saying we're not
going to
do
anything. He said it was perfect.
Okay, well, whatever. Thomas Cook Travel. I know I'd never heard of them.
Thomas Cook Travel.
I'd never heard of them. Have you heard of them?
Heard of them.
I've heard of that Viking Voyages or whatever, right?
I don't know what. I really don't know what you're talking about.
It's a travel group. It's a travel company. It was one of the biggest and oldest. And one of the things this morning that I saw, they said that it was the world's oldest travel company. So I don't know, maybe not popular in the United States. I'd never heard of it. They had airplanes that have their name on the side of it. It says Thomas Cook Travel.
Never heard of it.
But I guess they needed some investment from their shareholders because they were running low on liquidity or whatever, and the investors wouldn't give it to them, and they went broke, and that stranded a lot of people who were in the middle of a Thomas Cook travel vacation.
Hundreds of thousands of people currently on vacation waking up to the news that the almost 180-year-old travel firm had collapsed. It ceased trading with immediate effects after a round of talks aimed at saving this company.
Okay, it is a British travel group. Formed in it was formed in 2007. Oh, that's because of a merger. So the original group, as they said, is over 100 years old, which made it the world's oldest travel company. Well, it collapsed, and now there's 150,000 stranded people who are stranded abroad, can't get home because their flights and stuff were through Thomas Cook, and that's why Lazlo will tell you don't travel abroad. Just don't do it. You never know. What if that airplane doesn't come to pick you up? You know, you want to live where you're going. Is that how you want to do? You want to live there? Because you might be living there. You might be living there, and they're not going to just give you a job just because you couldn't get a flight back. They're not going to give you a green card. They're not going to say, "Oh, we're sorry." Where
were they though?
They're all over the world.
Yeah,
the travelers are all over the world. Stuck.
150,000.
That's a lot of people who were using this company for them to go bankrupt all of a sudden and be like,
all
damn,
in one time.
We just don't have any money. 150,000 people are stranded right now? I can't believe that.
If you think if 150,000 people gave you money as a travel agency, you'd have some cash.
How many airlines would you have to tell me just went out of business to strand 150,000 people currently around the world?
All of them.
I'm so dumb, I would think like maybe all of them. Right?
All of them.
Right? Like,
all of them.
I guess all of them? Like, I don't know.
Well,
Most
I don't know.
of
I could
them?
look at a plane. There's 200 people on each of them?
Well, yeah, and if you go overseas, there's 600, something like that. So bigger flights.
So then do all the planes. But how much? 400 on average.
Each airline probably does 1 or 2 flights every hour or a couple hours overseas, different countries. So I don't know. I have no idea how many people they ship overseas each day. I'm sure someone who works for an airline could tell us that sort of stuff.
I'd rather they not.
I'd rather not. Don't text. I'm not curious. Actually, I am a little bit curious. You can tell me. I'll listen. There was a shooting this weekend, and that made national news. A shooting here locally, and it made national news. Luckily, nobody was killed.
There's no Zyrtec?
Where do you
guys
keep
always
hiding
talk
the
about
Zyrtec?
how I don't have them?
We put it in your office, and you keep hiding. Was this the only one that was in my drawer? Yeah. There were 2 of them. That was the only one that was in the drawer?
I put that there on Friday.
You put 2 of them in there.
I put one there 2 weeks ago.
Hey, this guy says, stop spreading your lies.
Lies.
You are not smart enough to criticize the president.
What did I
I don't know.
I think pretty much everyone is.
You are not smart enough to criticize the president, dum-dum.
Didn't criticize him, dude. Said he was the president of these United States, and you had a phone call with Ukraine, according to...
Hey! Stop it. That's where your brain checks out.
The Spot.
You're not allowed to think.
This is an area that this is a topic I can really sink my teeth into because it's a swingers club. But it made local news for all the wrong reasons.
Was that the one you went to?
National news for all the wrong reasons over the weekend because 5 people were shot.
Is it the one you went to, though?
No. 5 people were shot.
You went to one. This isn't it?
No. 5 people were shot over the weekend.
Come on, be honest.
It's not the one I went to. 5 people were shot.
No, really?
I'm being really serious. It's not
How many are there?
It's not the one I went to. More than you'd think, man. More than you'd think. 5 people were shot and injured in an early morning shooting at the Spot in the 2100 block of Television Place. If you don't know where that is off the top of your head, I didn't either. I had to look it up on Google
Where
Maps.
is it?
You either know it or you don't.
It's in an unincorporated part of Jackson County in between KC and Independence. But here is Daryl Forte on, I believe, Fox 4 News being interviewed.
Who the hell's Daryl Forte?
The sheriff. He used to be the police chief.
He's a sheriff of what?
The county.
Jackson County?
Yeah.
I never heard of him.
What I know, they also dispatched on sounds of shots around 3:30. They got here, the entire street was full of cars. They had a problem driving up the street here. When they got here, they found numerous people out in the street, gathered in the street. Then they were told 5 victims were transported to the hospital by private conveyance, and 3 of those victims have already left the hospital.
All 5 people.
So let me guess.
Huh?
Some ladies in there doing the swinger thing, and the guy gets pissed off. His ex-wife is a swinger now or something, and then maybe even it's his car. I don't know their exact relationship, but it ain't good. And then he rolls in there and just starts freewheeling with a pistol. Is that what happens? Is this the story?
That's your theory. It's not the story yet because it's being investigated. No one's been arrested yet, so
Am I wrong?
Currently investigating. Well, I don't know if you're wrong. It's just a theory, right?
You think I'm wrong?
But I think it sounds like a good theory, a good place to start. Sounds believable. How's that? It sounds believable. Did you see over the weekend this marriage proposal?
See it.
Underwater.
Mm-mm.
You guys haven't seen this? Holy crap.
Underwater?
Holy crap. This is one of the craziest stories I've seen in a long time. This guy...
By the way, I got Zyrtec on the way, boss.
Thanks, man.
This guy decides to propose to... Doesn't matter. He's a guy. You don't know him. He decides to propose to his girlfriend.
You don't know that.
He decides to propose to his girlfriend. His name's Steve Weber.
Of course. I went to college with him.
Decides to...
we call him Little Steven.
Propose to his...
Stephen Weber.
Propose to his girlfriend.
It's pronounced Weber.
Springsteen's guitar player, isn't that Little
No, but we call him that.
Okay.
So.
And it's Weber.
These two were at an island resort on the east coast of Africa, okay?
Beautiful this time of year, by the way.
They had this cabin that I guess was partially submerged underwater on the ocean. So if you went like down in the basement, you could look out the window and see the fish and stuff.
Oh, okay.
See what I'm saying?
That's
cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Like a submarine.
Yeah. Except you can just walk back upstairs and you're back.
That's pretty sweet.
What do they call that? Above
on dry land.
What do they call that? Like you're
above sea level.
Sea level. You're at sea level. There you go. Sea level. That's what I was looking for. So there's a window, obviously, in the basement, so that you can look out and see the fish and stuff like that.
There are a lot of fish that
so
close?
This guy, that's stuff they didn't get into, but I don't know. So this guy comes up with a clever proposal to try and get his girlfriend to become his fiance, right?
Okay.
He decides he's going to take a note. He's going to write on the note all these things. You know, I love you. I can't hold my breath long enough to tell you all the things I love you, stuff like that, or that I love about you.
Okay.
And then I'm on the other side of the note. It'll say like, "Will you marry me?" I'll wrap this note in plastic, and then I'm going to swim down to the window, knock on the window, and show her this note up against the glass.
Like what's his name in Lost? When he put the note up against it, he was like, "Not Jane Ship" or whatever. You guys remember this? You guys didn't watch it?
I never watched Lost.
I watched and forgot.
Oh, God, I wish I had better friends.
Anyway,
thanks.
This is how the proposal is set up. This is how it starts to go down. You're going to hear at the very beginning of this audio, because this is from a news story. You're going to hear her laughing. She recorded this. She recorded him at the window doing the proposal, okay?
What does that say?
When Stephen Weber proposed to girlfriend Kenesha Antoine.
Oh, it's so cute.
He did it with a little bit of daring, writing, "I can't hold my breath long enough to tell you everything I love about you." Her answer, a resounding yes, but Weber never heard the reply. He drowned shortly after this proposal.
He never came back up! He never came back up!
He got off easy.
He never came. I knew you were going to say that. He never came.
How'd you know
back
I
up.
was going to say
Because
it?
I knew it when I read the story. I think about what will everyone's reaction be? Is this what we're talking about? And I do this little thing in my head. Here's me telling the story. Here's what Lazlo says. Lazlo says he got off easy. Anyway, think about this. She videotaped this, okay? When I first read the story, they weren't showing the video yet.
Yeah.
She videotaped this. She's giggling. She's laughing. She's excited. And then
a lot of people are texting in,
she's
not
crying.
Penny's boat, by the way.
Not what?
Not Penny's boat was the note.
Oh. So,
Charlie. Yeah.
I can't help but wonder if he stayed down there, because I watched this a couple times now, just out of morbid curiosity, knowing that this guy is about to die. Like, this is the end of his life. I know that now watching this. This man is about to die. He literally wrote on the note, "I cannot hold my breath long enough to tell you the things." He
literally
obviously
can't.
He's not scuba. He can't.
He
He's
literally
holding
can't hold his breath long
She's
enough.
videotaping it. Now think about this, though. She's videotaping it and giggling and saying, "What does it say? Haha." What if in his head he's like, "Are you ready to see the other side of the note yet or what? Why does everything have to go on Instagram? Can you just read the goddamn note?" Like, that's what I wondered. Was she causing him to take longer than he thought this would take, because she's laughing and then going like, okay, now flip it over. No, just like, what if she's thinking about that? She's got this video now. Is she wondering, oh my God,
why didn't he swim back up and then swim back down?
Yeah, what happened?
So he swam down to get to the thing, and he thought he would be able to swim back up to catch his breath. Apparently, he wasn't strong enough or ran out of breath before he made it to the surface. So he died trying to get back up to the surface. Yeah.
How deep could it be?
I don't know.
None
because
of that story makes any
because
sense.
they said that only they said that only the lower levels of this thing are underwater. So maybe there's multiple levels that are underwater. Maybe it's not just like the basement and then you walk up to the main floor and that's the main floor. Maybe there's multiple levels that are underwater and they're on the third one down or something, and he has to go down there like a hotel, you know? And they say, oh, you got the third floor down.
But how would you not have enough time to swim back up?
Depending on how deep
your body kind of tells you, though.
I don't know how deep.
I've been pretty
to go.
deep underwater, and then your body's like, we better get going.
Yeah, I've also gotten close to the top before. I'm like, oh, I'm not close to the top. I thought I was close to the top. I'm way deeper than I thought.
But you still made it.
I did, but I can imagine people not making it. That you go, I thought I was closer than I was, and I'm not. This is way further than I thought. Man. So they're making it sound like that's what happened. That is completely and totally insane, right? Mm-hmm. Is that not the craziest thing that you've heard in weeks? In weeks, I tell you. She's got video of it.
I think it's beautiful.
Beautiful. It's horrifying.
It's their last moment together, and she knows.
She lost him while they were engaged. She didn't.
Yeah, but
she
then
didn't have time to fall out of love with him yet. So she's going to always think that he was the one.
Listen to me.
She's never going to be happy again.
Perfect.
I met one of those. I met a woman who lost her fiance on a float trip, and she just
lost him like he died, or he just took off.
He drowned, and she was. It had been like 10 years since this happened. She could not get over it, even though if they'd stayed together and
once they would have gotten married, he would have realized that she nags about everything, and he doesn't help do the dishes, and it would have been bad. But right now, all she knows is that he was like, I love you more than anything. And she's like, I love you too. And then he died. It's perfect. They can be happy forever now.
But they can't, because she's without him forever now.
But if she was with him, then she'd be like, he's a jerk.
Right, then they can break up and she can be with someone else.
Right, but this way she thinks that true love does exist, and she found it, even though we all know it doesn't.
Once.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah, this goes back to your old thing. But
he died before he could prove to her what a horrible, that all men are trash. Mm. You see what I'm saying?
I get it, boss.
You do, right?
Yeah, I do.
Snowcone says he gets it. He's on board.
People get it.
Yeah.
They may not want to say they get it, but they get it.
A family.
People get it. What I'm saying is true.
Yeah.
A family in Milwaukee said, you know what? We want some smart cameras in our home. Maybe one of those Nest thermostats. Let's just make this a smart home. We're going to make this home smarter than yours. Our house is smarter than your house, and it's going to make us feel safer. It's going to be convenient. We're going to love it. I'm going to do this so that I can add a sense of security to my life by having these cameras in my home, outside my home. Everything's controlled electronically. I'm going to hook all this stuff up to the internet, so that it'll be easier to use, and then just enjoy it.
Son of a bitch.
Unfortunately, those cameras in the living room started talking to the family and saying
What'd
things.
they say?
Well, I wish they would tell us, Lazlo. I really wish they would tell us, but they don't tell us exactly what they were saying. But someone's voice came over the camera and started saying naughty things to them.
Like
and
what?
then also, they won't tell us. She won't say. It hurts her to even talk about it. I shouldn't be making fun of her, but it hurts her to even talk about it. And nowhere in the article does it say this is what the camera said. I want to know. It says that it said bad things.
And the camera's like, show me your.
Yes,
blah, blah.
Who knows?
Oh,
but then
man.
it also played gratuitous music.
Gratuitous?
So, yeah, I don't know what that.
My bad.
Right. Who knows what it was, but it was something they didn't want to hear, and it freaked them out. And this is a warning to all families with connected/smart homes.
Supposed to make me feel safe, and I didn't feel safe.
A place of comfort that turned creepy Tuesday.
And my heart was just racing. I felt so violated at that point.
Samantha Westmoreland returned from work to a blazing hot home. The thermostat turned all the way up to 90 degrees. She thought it was a glitch, setting it back to room temperature, not realizing then it was only the beginning of a roller coaster 24 hours.
It gives me the chills just talking about it.
The thermostat continued to go up, and a voice began speaking from a camera in the kitchen, then playing vulgar music.
Vulgar music.
Like what?
Vulgar. I wish they would tell us, but they won't. It doesn't say in the damn article what it said or what kind of music it was. I want to know what this guy was saying. Now, if you have a smart camera, smart home, whatever, Just so you know, like as soon as you open like Tor browser or something, one of the very first things available on the dark web is want to go see people's security cameras, because a lot of them are not protected. A lot of them are not safe. Snowcone, I think I made you watch that documentary on Showtime about it, where people will just for fun, they'll just scroll through pages and pages, and it gives them the location. It says like, this is a home security camera in Overland Park, Kansas, in Kansas City, Missouri, or at a business, this is a retail camera, whatever. And if they're not secured, then people just can pop by and take a look. And sometimes they can take over, they can control the camera. And in this case, apparently they were able to speak through it. I guess the cameras had speakers on them, and they were able to talk through them. I want to know what they were saying, man. I want to know what they were saying. She said that she unplugged it and like turned the camera towards the wall and all that, and then made it sound like, but that didn't help because the thermostat kept going up. They changed the passwords. Well, that should help. That should be okay. If you unplug it, I think you should be okay. But I guess their point is that they needed to reset the whole system. And I don't know if they're comfortable.
Cameras in your house?
No. I had an Alexa for a while. But,
Alexa? Why can't you say Alexa?
Because then it activates everyone's, and they're like, God damn it. So
Alexa, stream 96.5 The Buzz.
So at this point, wouldn't they already be? That's
maybe not. Maybe.
So I had one for like a month, and I was like, you know what? I don't need this thing listening to me, and I unplugged it because I didn't use it that often. So I had like a couple
Alexa,
smart lights.
Gatorade.
I was like, yeah, I don't need these smart lights.
Then you
so
gotta do this because
I unplugged it.
Then you wait, so you go, Alexa, check out Gatorade. Now it's actually on the way to your house.
People are scrambling to turn off the radio right now.
I did have a Connect.
They can't afford.
That's my goal.
I did have a Connect for a long time, so I can't act like I didn't voluntarily stick a camera in my living room directed right at me that was connected to the internet.
Walk in the house, would recognize you were there and start talking to you, right?
It didn't talk. Well, it just said, hi, Reed, on the screen. Like, hey, it's you. I recognize you, old son of a bitch. Want to buy something? Yeah, and, people worry about, like, well, could someone in Redmond be watching this? Well, they could, I don't know. But I will admit that after a while, I did think, I'm kind of tired of having this camera pointed at me, and so I stopped pointing the camera at me. Yeah. And I don't have the listening stuff right now. It's too much. Too many people listen. All this stuff about, police say that they have the rights to take this audio from these different companies, whether the companies want to give it to them or not. If the company says
giving you the license to look at your face,
Amazon, does Amazon have to give you the Alexa audio? Does Apple have to give you the Siri audio? Right. Does Google have to give you theirs? All this stuff, and then Ring Doorbell. There was that big story a couple weeks ago about them working with police this many times to help solve crimes, and forget
and those
it.
3 states that were scanning the DMV base for all the pictures.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, you can't.
Big Brother is here, man.
It's coming. I'm not going to be able to stop it just by not owning an Alexa. But I just don't. So maybe at least in that one little room. Maybe if I'm real quiet. Maybe in that one moment, there's actually
I have one at my front door.
No one listening or seeing me. Maybe. I don't count on it, but maybe there's no one listening or watching.
That'd be a new thing.
What?
You could rent out like secure
a safe space.
A safe space.
We promise. No one is. Yeah.
Yeah. You can come to this, and there's.
I
no
think.
one
I think
listening or
future
watching.
generations. Imagine future generations are scared of that. Like, oh my God, you're going to put me somewhere where no one could see me. There'll be no evidence of what happened here. 18-year-old with a fake gun was shot and killed in an officer-involved shooting inside 7-Eleven in Long Beach. I guess they'd been following this guy around for a while, thinking that he was, someone who'd been holding places up with apparently a fake gun.
Police had been watching a car linked to several armed robberies in the area this week when they spotted a suspect who appeared to be armed going into a 7-Eleven. Investigators say the suspect, 18-year-old Jordan Griffin, failed to comply with officers' commands. And because they feared for the safety of the people inside the store, they opened fire, shooting and killing him. A second suspect was taken into custody and booked on suspicion of robbery.
All right, so undercover police, they were the ones conducting the surveillance operation, and they were following this vehicle that they thought had been involved in these armed robberies, and somehow, they say that he wasn't complying when they finally confronted him, and they shot him, and it turns out he just had a fake gun. Finally, the guy who holds up the sign and says, I need Busch Light. Right? Here, Venmo me.
Oh, right.
And
Can
then,
I get some whiskey?
Then they gave him what?
I think I have a little plain bottle.
Okay.
I think and I hid one behind the thing in here because I didn't want someone to steal it. In that studio in there. So, Busch Light guy, once it got to like $300 or whatever it wasn't that much. He said, I can't good conscience take all this money. So I'm just going to take enough money to buy the one pack of Busch Light, and then the rest of it I'm going to give to a children's hospital here in Iowa. And everyone's like, oh, what a good guy. He's giving money to the children's hospital. So then Busch Light said, what a great opportunity for us here, too, and great free marketing. So we'll match all the money that he raises. And then Venmo said, hey, it's good, so we'll match it as well. I don't know if you guys have heard any of the recent numbers.
Been telling you about the college football sign Carson King held up on ESPN's pre-show this month, jokingly asking for cash to buy a case of beer. Well, people sent King beer money through Venmo and then some. He says donations are now at $1 million.
Whoa! 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 Buddy, what were you thinking when you said you'd give that all away? Why don't you get Bush and Venmo to donate the money, and you keep a little more than at least the cost of one case of Busch
Light.
Light?
Like in a month from now, this is going to be another story where he didn't donate the money, like the people that
too many people paid attention.
That he never needed the Busch Light. That's what it'll be. It turns out he never needed the Busch Light. There was plenty of Busch Light in his dormitory. After further investigation, sources reveal that he had Natural Light, Busch Light, and Coors Light all within his reach. That'll be the story, and then he'll have to go to jail, and they'll say, "Yo, you fraudulently raised this money."
This should kill what's ever bothering my head, right?
I would think so. It's almost killed my friend. He's in the hospital right now. Yeah, we'll see what happens with that.
Really?
So, yeah, be careful.
What?
Be careful. Yeah. I guess that stuff can kill you. I had no idea.
One of these?
No. Multiples.
Well, yeah, I mean, alcohol poisoning.
Many.
Two of them?
More than that.
How many?
I would say. Don't know what that number.
Because I've had one big bottle before in an evening. I didn't die.
Right.
I mean, I felt like
you're probably close.
You found close to what your limit was there.
I texted people some things I shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Well, it doesn't take a whole bottle to do that.
It does for me to actually, pull it up and. So I try not to do that anymore.
Yeah, I can understand. that. You got to be careful.
When you look at it, you're like, yeah, that's a bad idea.
Bad idea. But it does happen. Happens to a lot of people.
Especially when you get the text the next day and they're like, what?
They
and
shouldn't respond.
Oh, no.
They should never respond. People have a little common
respond.
courtesy. If you wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning because you're a normal person who has to go to work in the morning and you see that you've got your friend who only texts you at 3 in the morning and says, well, you got an idea for a t-shirt company. Don't respond to them the next morning, okay?
My bad.
Don't respond because...
What? He's talking about me right now.
Because they're clearly
He went
under
on
the
this
influence of
long
something.
rant about t-shirt
hey,
ideas.
don't respond. Don't talk about it. Don't bring it up. Just be done with it.
Sorry.
That's headlines.
You sent him a thing about
That's headlines. That's headlines.
What did it say?
I'll show it to you. It's a
do not show it to him.
You go get it
No,
now?
do not show it to him
Because I don't do that. I send texts and say, like, I got my wiener in my hand.
No, do not. Snow cone, what kind of trust are you breaking
I say,
here? You're going to share my ideas with everyone
Okay,
now? Don't do that.
Oh, wait, don't let him boss you around.
Oh, you see that now? But he's going to boss you around.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have said anything.
Give me the phone and his text, you're fired.
See how he does?
He can't rehire you.
See how he does?
And he can't fire you.
See how he does? Those are headlines.
The Church of Lazlo. 96.5 The Buzz.
Lazlo, Slimfasts, Snow Cone. How the hell, for two of you, does it feel to be a fan of a team with maybe the greatest football player ever? And Lazlo, how does it feel to be a fan of maybe the worst undefeated team I've ever seen?
I don't even understand what you're saying right now. The worst undefeated team is still awesome.
Oh, wow. Do we play each other next week?
Yes.
Oh,
Remember I sent you all those texts asking if you wanted to take a weekend getaway and you never responded, and that was about that.
It'll be a moral victory for you guys if the Chiefs actually have to try in the fourth quarter, which they haven't had to yet this season. If they haven't just totally called off the dogs by the beginning of the fourth, I think you guys should get another half win like your pretend one week one.
You're real smug, Nick, right? Real smug.
Let's worry about officially getting the whole city to turn on Lazlo once and for all. Let's do that later in the week. Instead, right now, let's talk about the news of the day.
4 years ago, this guy's roaming the sidelines with an alcoholic and a beard, telling me Tyler Palko might be the answer.
Yeah,
we just stick with him. We just stick with some asshole from coastal Carolina. Just stick with him. We just might be okay.
It's true.
And then, by the way, I was with you, but then the Chiefs draft Patrick Mahomes, and me and you talk about how that's a bad mistake. They should have taken Deshaun Watson. Me and you both said that. And then here you are, basking in the glory of the Chiefs' genius while you stare down your nose at everybody else who just didn't get randomly lucky and pull out a bingo on a draft day.
Okay, so you can say all that, and that all is true, and I don't want to rehash old things because there was a time in our now, my God, how ridiculous is this, 11 years of me doing sports on this radio show, there have only been 2 times where the relationship almost ended. Once was when I asserted to you Mark Mangino would never get another head coaching job because he was too obese. And you were furious with me, made me leave the studio. I thought you were joking, and the mics went off, and you said, have a bleep button ready, guys. And you looked me dead in my face and said, why are you still sitting here? I told you to leave. And I was like, wait, the mics aren't running. Why was that? That can't be part of the bit. And the other time was...
That's the guy that used the towel? Was that it? Oh, man, I love that story. Yeah. The towel.
And
I hope to be there one day.
The other time was when I repeatedly, during Patrick Mahomes' rookie season, said, bench Alex Smith, go to the rookie. And you mocked me and said how dumb I was and said how ridiculous it was. And 1 year ago, 1 year and 2 weeks ago, you even said, well, do you now want to bet who's going to have a better year, this first-year quarterback, Patrick Mahomes or Alex Smith? Well, we don't talk about those things anymore, which is fine, because I don't need to rub your nose in that, because I can rub your nose in this.
I still think it was a good idea to have Patrick Mahomes sit a year behind Alex Smith. I think it was still a smart idea.
Nick was saying you're talking about the first year you're talking about the year that Mahomes would have compared to the year Alex Smith would have.
And then he came on and said that I thought that Alex Smith would have a better year than Patrick Mahomes as a rookie. He brought up both of them. He was right on one and wrong on the other, which is about his record, 50-50.
Anytime that you can just continue to start a quarterback in Alex Smith who can somehow blow an 18-point home playoff lead to Marcus Mariota, you just got to do that. You can't roll the dice with the greatest quarterback ever. I got a quick question for you guys. All-time NFL history, yards per attempt. The all-time record is 9.0. It's shared by 2 people. Any guess who they are?
Your mom.
Patrick Mahomes and, I don't know.
And Otto Graham.
And LeBron James.
And Otto Graham. All-time NFL history, the record for passer rating. Who do you think holds it?
LeBron
Patrick
James.
Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes.
I actually meant to say Patrick Mahomes. I was drinking a little bit of whiskey. Just LeBron James came out at that time. I wasn't being a jerk. Sorry.
You talk about LeBron a lot when you're drunk. A lot. I think you secretly like the guy, and there's something weird going on. But we can talk about that later.
He's just like every one of you Chiefs fans, just a condescending prick.
Let's see what you say after a few more of those. Let's see what you say.
Okay.
Sorry, Nick.
All
go
right,
ahead.
listen. No, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Who's the greatest pass guy ever? The greatest catch guy ever? The greatest in the pocket guy ever? The greatest scrambler? Yep. It's Patrick Mahomes. Greatest player ever? Greatest hair ever? Greatest attitude ever? Hey, Patrick Mahomes. I agree with all of it.
I don't like your tone.
Huh?
I don't like your tone.
I'm trying to get the crowd pumped up. It's Patrick Mahomes. He's the greatest. Woo! Woo!
Let me give you guys a little more context here real quick. The Jacksonville Jaguars, in 2 games this year, where they weren't playing the Kansas City Chiefs, have allowed a combined 20 points. In the 1 game against the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, they've allowed 40. In the what do you call them, Baltimore Ravens, in the 2 games where they weren't playing the Kansas City Chiefs, they've allowed a combined 27 points. In the 1 game where they had to play the Kansas City Chiefs, they allowed 33. If the Chiefs can just move the ball at will, and by the way, the defense quietly, through 3 quarters against Jacksonville, 13 points allowed. Through 3 quarters against Oakland, 10 points allowed. Through 3 quarters against Baltimore, 13 points allowed. The defense actually has been playing quite well, and then they go in this prevent defense because the offense has gotten such a big lead. Listen, this Chiefs team is the best team in the league by an enormous margin.
Yeah, I don't think the Lions have any chance.
Oh, it's for the Lions, please. Come on. Like I said, if the Chiefs have to try in the 4th quarter, the Lions should get a quarter of a win at least. But more importantly, not to really try to twist Lazlo's horn here, but who was right on that Antonio Brown thing as well. He sure just got his act together, didn't he? No, he's out of the league and is threatening to retire.
Well, I didn't know that second thing was coming. Neither did Bill Belichick. I don't know that you can necessarily blame that on me. Once he got there, he seemed like he was going to fit in, and then the other shoe dropped. I didn't know that was happening.
But except for the fact that they were going to look the other way on the second thing, it was the text to the second woman and the tweets and all that got him run out of town. But regardless,
it should be clear now, though, that this was a guy who was good at his job. His performance was good, but people didn't want to work with him. He was impossible to work with. So they cut him, and then another team says, well, you know what? He's so good, right? How hard could he be to work with, really? I mean, he's got to be worth the risk. So they bring him on, and then they go, you know what? He's too difficult to work with. And then they cut him, and he says, still, it's not my fault. And there's just guys like that, people like that out there.
Wow. I wish there was an analogous situation. I just can't find it. What was I going to say? I lost my train of thought.
I need your help, Nick. I need your help. Listen,
that was pretty direct, by the way. Pretty direct.
Last season's. And
I'd like to be on the record, and I didn't say any of that. Wasn't even thinking it when it came up.
The last couple seasons, I've been fortunate enough to have these tickets to the Chiefs games, and where I sit just happens to be around where like our boss sits and the mayor of the city sits. And when Sly James was the mayor, he was very nice to say hi to me, all those things. We have a new mayor now. That mayor is a friend of yours, Quentin. And I saw Quentin yesterday at the game, and I tried to say hi to him. Now, in his defense, a lot of people were trying to get his attention, but I thought, well, he should know who I am. When I say hi to him, he should stop what he's doing and probably come and talk to me and shake my hand. He did not. So could you just send him a picture of me or something? Maybe remind him who I am and that I'm friends with you, and just so that next week I don't get embarrassed like that again in front of my friends and family.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
And he definitely knows who you are.
I'm just kidding. I didn't even try and say hi to him. Truth is, he was walking by, and every single person in that stadium was stopping him to say, Quentin, 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 Quentin. It was like the giant celebrity status.
Nick, I have something even more to ask of you and the mayor. I got a really good business idea. I just need his help.
All right, let me hear it.
I know. I can't tell you. Off the record.
Is this my clothing company?
No, I just need a meeting.
Did Slimko tell you about polio clothing?
Polio.
What?
He never mentioned that.
I didn't say anything. I said I would keep my word.
You said you were going to look at his phone earlier.
I didn't. I was just kidding. I can't fire him.
Now he knows it's polio clothing.
What's your idea, Lazlo? What's your idea?
It's just an idea, and I might have some investors, but I need a little help from your guy.
Might have some investors? How do you get those?
I just need a little help from your guy.
Can I be an angel investor?
I would love for you to be one.
I don't really know what angel investor means, but I assume
it
means
means
I get 5%
that
of the company and put up $0.
You give him money, and he calls you his little angel for the rest of your life. And I think also that you're anonymous.
Can we say one more thing about the Chiefs, if we may?
Yeah.
How many receivers over the next decade are going to get paid just by proxy of having been on this team?
Yeah. He makes a lot of people look good.
Do you think Demarcus Robinson is actually good?
You don't know.
He's just the guy who's getting to catch passes from the best quarterback ever. And
do you think? But by the way, do you think that it'll be like? And maybe those guys will get paid, or do you think it's like there were guys who stayed with? And I know you don't want to hear it, but there were guys who stayed with Brady for a long time. That yes, they got paid, but do you think it's a thing where the Chiefs keep these young guys, and these young guys realize that hey, if I go to the Jets, it ain't going to be the same thing. I might want to stay with the Chiefs and let's just ride this thing out and make a dynasty. I think that is more likely than the other.
But the thing is this, you can only, like DeMarcus Robinson, when Tyreek Hill comes back, legitimately is the number 4 receiver. And I think someone's going to pay him like he's a number 1. Because you know what I mean? So I'm not talking about guys.
But I mean, isn't it a DeMarcus Robinson thing where he's like, look, I know on this team I'm a number 4. Pay me like a 3, and I'll stay with the Chiefs. I'm a soldier for life.
No, I don't think. I think guys in the NFL, they got to get paid where they can. But it's just such a good problem to have. But
there's been really great people that we've been promised were really great receivers too. They sign these guys supposed to be great, and you see them miss these just obvious catches.
I think Sammy Watkins has probably gone there and replaced him. It looks to me like that Mecole Hardman is everything that they wanted him to be and more. So they're going to have people.
No, we're going to have people, and we paid Tyreek Hill, and we don't even seem to... Listen, what we did to Baltimore, we did not have our best receiver, our best offensive lineman, our most important offensive lineman, at least the left tackle, or our starting running back.
You see those Lions beat the Eagles?
Yeah, listen, man, that game cost me really more money than I'm comfortable discussing. And all I needed the Eagles to do was win.
I need an angel investor so I can start gambling on some games. That's what I need. Come on, Nick. It couldn't be any worse. It sounds like you're having a rough go of it each week
Nothing
anyway.
made my heart flutter more than just hearing you say that.
I mentioned the Lions on television today.
Yeah.
People are texting me, and Slimfasts mentioned that they are technically undefeated. Did you use that word?
Yeah, the question was the most surprising undefeated team. And I said the Detroit Lions are the most surprising and the least likely to stay undefeated because the Chiefs are about to beat them by 28.
Wow. That's a bold prediction.
It's a bold prediction.
Bless you, Leslie.
Listen, man. And so I've made my career on three things.
You know what? I think you're really good at what you do, and I'm glad you come in this radio program, but I don't like you.
Yeah, well, I'm sure there's a lot baked into that we could discuss one day. But we don't need to. Let's just listen. Let's just revel in this glory of both of our teams being undefeated. One of our teams is going to ride this road to something like 15-1, 14-2 on a trip to the Super Bowl. Another one of our teams is going to ride this to maybe 7-8-1. Maybe they'll get lucky and steal another tie and be 7-7-2. First team like that ever in NFL history. And you'll be able to say it was progress.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Nick.
That should help his mood.
Lazlo's mad?
Oh, mad? We haven't even played yet. I don't know why you got to be such a condescending prick. We beat the Eagles. They're supposed to be pretty good, and they win a goddamn Super Bowl. And then you're like, the only team I'm afraid of is the Chargers. We beat them. Maybe there's something going on in Motown.
Maybe there is. And maybe,
or maybe it's just more fake businesses painted on the front of shuttered storefronts. Who knows?
Hey! Oh my gosh! Before we go, I'm so sorry. Just real quick, do they fire Harbaugh before or after the season?
You know what, man?
What?
Stop.
You're talking about that Harbaugh in Michigan? That Harbaugh?
Yeah, not John Harbaugh, not the brother, not the one that's good. I mean, the Chiefs.
Oh my God! I didn't even mention to you when Maryland put like 67 on Syracuse.
Listen, man, we're a basketball school. I'm not worried about our football program.
When did you become a basketball school? 20 years ago?
When we won national championships.
With Carmelo Anthony?
Yeah.
Basketball school is Michigan. They're the ones who still get the national championships. Cheater. Just driving down cars and guy's a real piece of
Okay.
He's been drinking a lot, man. Like a lot. It started early.
I would feel really more comfortable if you guys bleeped everything Lazlo had just said there.
Well, I did. I have to. I don't have any choice. Trust me. My boss knows he's been drinking. He's asked me before, is his drinking a problem? No. Will you tell me if his drinking becomes a problem? Yes. Okay, I'll be listening. If I think his drinking has become a problem and you've not said anything, I will hold you partially responsible. Okay, that means a lot of this gets bleeped.
Okay. Hey, listen, though. Seriously. That's a great win by the Lions. I'm happy for them. It's a great win by the Chiefs.
Nick, the last one, real quick. I have one last question for you, Nick, because you used to have season tickets to the Chiefs. That's how I started getting into my first regular season games, like a big shot. So now, my girlfriend's dad, he has season tickets, so we're in the same spot each year. There's people behind us. Listen. There's these guys behind us that sit behind us, okay? White guys. I have just assumed now, I've decided in my head that these are white Catholic conservatives that probably went to like all boys schools from, elementary through high school. That's just what I've decided in my mind. When people around us are high-fiving and excited, because it's the same people every week, they're season ticket holders. Yeah. When people are high-fiving and screaming and getting excited, these guys oftentimes look either annoyed and or maybe even possibly offended. So I now have occasionally started purposefully turning my direction towards them and just throwing out like a, yeah, stuff like that. Because I want them to loosen up because it's a football game, and I think they think that it should be more like a baseball game, and I just don't want that to happen. We can still cuss and scream and flip off the opposing team, right? We can be nice to the fans in the parking lot and still cuss and scream while we're in there, right?
Yeah, and I think the real way to loosen them up is just to, and I know this will be hard for you because I imagine when you buy a beer, it's basically drunk by the time you get back to your seat. So maybe
They won't
by
serve me
2
once I'm in the stadium usually, but
Right, and so maybe buy 2 maybe, and so you can drink one on your way to your seats and have the other one be full and ready for a big play. And when there's a big play, you just throw your hands in the air and make sure that beer just douses them.
Oh my God! The look on
And then
their
it's just
Jesuit
exuberant
faces.
celebration. You really can't be blamed.
I don't even know what Jesuit means, but I'm pretty sure those guys are Jesuits. All right, thank you, Nick.
All right, Lazlo, Slimfasts, Snow Cone, it's a pleasure as always. Maybe we can make this weekend's game a little interesting.
Yeah,
Maybe
we could have
can
gone.
Discuss later.
We could have gone. I kept texting you, and you wouldn't text me back, but that's okay. We'll make it
All right,
interesting. See you, Nick.
Bye.
The Church of Lazlo on 96.5 The Buzz.
I didn't know this was such an issue with women that they had to leave work. I mean, I know you
leave work.
Yeah.
What the hell are you talking about?
The pooping thing in the New York Times.
What?
Yeah, you guys didn't see the poop thing?
God,
No.
this guy on poop every day.
It's not my thing. It was covering the New York Times.
Yeah, but you
It's fed
choose
to
to
me.
talk about it.
By the way, just real quick for sports fans, we won't talk about it because we got you can look it up or listen to 610 Sports. I'm sure they didn't know what they're talking about, but Snow Cone, your team got hit with I don't know, loss of institutional control. You know what? There's an institution in Lawrence, and the guy who's supposed to control it, he's got as Eddie Money would say, he's got no control. All right?
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, it's a tough one, boss.
I really don't know what that means. It could mean nothing.
Oh, KU.
Yeah.
You said his team. I thought you were talking about like the Little Lady Dragons or something. Never know which one is his. Well, why the sad face?
I didn't hear what
Snowcone?
you said, to be honest.
Okay. He's been saying that a lot today. There was a thing in the New York Times that people were sharing about. The article is titled, Women Poop. Sometimes at work. Get over it. And
Gross.
And then it says, why must the bathroom continue to be fraught? I thought, what's going on in there? They're not able to poop in there? Who's stopping them? What's happening?
I'll fight them.
We have gender-specific bathrooms here. That's how outdated we are. So I don't know what goes on in the women's room, but I assume they were pooping in there. But this article makes it sound like they might not be. It says, this article starts off, she says, there was once a woman who walked regularly from her office in Midtown Manhattan to a hotel across the street in order to use the restroom. And that woman may have been one of us. That woman had a friend at another office job who carried a book of matches and a can of air freshener in her purse, more willing to set off the
Wait, are they
office
talking
fire
about
alarm.
like that movie with the women who basically invented space travel and they had to go to a different building because they were women of color and they weren't allowed to use the restroom in the same place as everybody else?
Never saw it. My mom said it was great.
It's a really good movie. I had no idea about it. I mean,
no, they're talking about now. They're talking
it's
about
fake.
They're talking about the moon landing, not
The
that
moon
people
landing's
were
fake. The
oppressed.
people worked hard on it, I'm sure. And that lady she was an amazing woman. That story was unbelievable. Is that what they're talking about?
No, they're talking about women now in office
They have to go to
settings.
different buildings to poop because they're not allowed to poop in the same buildings as men?
They're ashamed to.
I will fight some. What?
Said this woman has a friend at another office job who carried a book of matches, a can of air freshener in her purse, more willing to set off the office fire alarm than leave any hint of odor in a public lavatory.
Why?
That friend had another friend at another office job who repeatedly forced her body to do the deed so quickly, racing from cubicle to bathroom and back in an effort to deflect attention from what she might be doing in there, that it led to a semi-serious hemorrhoid problem.
Oh, man. No one likes
You never see when you
hemorrhoids.
see hemorrhoids spelled out. You're like, there's an extra O in there. Hemorrhoid. I say hemorrhoid, right? Problem. As her former colleague put it, quote, she was pooping at the speed of pee.
All right, so what's the problem?
So she goes on to talk about the children's book, Everyone Poops, and that, it's supposed to teach kids about, the fact that it's natural to defecate. Cats, dogs, snakes, they all do it too. They poop. Maybe some of them don't, but most of them do. And that we live in an age where certain pockets of the corporate world are breathlessly adapting to women's needs, giving out free tampons that the company pays for, or salary workshops, lactation rooms.
I don't
stuff for women.
understand what's going on here.
Even in the world's most progressive workplace, it is not a stretch to think that you might have an empowered female executive leading a meeting at one moment and then sneaking off to another floor to relieve herself the next. Poop shame is real, and it is disproportionately affecting women who suffer from higher rates of irritable bowel syndrome and inflammatory bowel disease. In other words, the patriarchy has stepped into women's...
Are you serious?
Wait, I don't care if a woman poops.
People.
And I don't poop at work, period. You guys know me, never.
We know it's had an impact on your
has.
IBS or whatever.
Like, I will leave work sometimes and look at you guys and be like, ah!
We all try and hide from one another.
And you're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I got to go home. Ah!
If we're not on the air yet, I've driven home. It's not that close. It's not like it's right across the street. I've driven all the way.
Yeah.
Driven. Not every time, but sometimes, you just I don't want to fight it. Or if you go into the stall.
But wait,
like,
if they said they were going to poop in the men's room and the men were like, gross.
Yeah.
Your poo stinks. But they're not. They're only dealing with other women.
No, it says that girls are taught poo shame. That they're not born with poo shame, they're taught it. There's this thing called Psychology in the Bathroom by a psychologist, Nicholas Haslam. It writes that girls tend to be toilet trained earlier than boys, learning at a young age to neatly keep their bodily functions contained. They say that's their words there at the end, not his. When those girls get a bit older, they learn to pass gas silently, while boys do it loudly and think it's hilarious. Which, okay.
I don't.
I get that there are boys who do it. I've seen Jackass, and they laugh about it. And if a boy... This is a quote.
I've known women who do the same.
This is a quote. If a boy farts, everyone laughs, including the boy, said Sarah Albee, the author of Poop Happened, A History of the World from the Bottom Up. I don't know if that was a bestseller or not. That's the kind of thing that grabs you when you see that headline. If you're like, I always have want to know more about the history of pooping. But it's she says if a girl farts, she's mortified. Which is not to say that anxious poopers or audible flatulators of all genders don't exist. Indeed, a male friend of ours, this is New York Times, a U.S. Marine recently explained that he often changes out of his military uniform and into another while on base in order to enter an entirely different facility to use the restroom. So, talking about how guys can have the shame too, right? But while boys and men are more likely to develop paresis, is that how you say that? It's pee shyness.
Pee shyness.
My dad called it a nervous kidney.
We talked about it with the Rob Lowe commercial that one time.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, nervous kidney. This doctor theorized by some to stem, or that it stems in part from a pressure of standing next to each other at those open urinals, which I remember the first time I'd ever heard that term was at the old Arrowhead Stadium with my dad. And that's when we had the troughs. You remember the troughs?
Oh, yeah.
Snow cones?
Yeah.
And my dad was like, well, I don't get nervous kidney often, but there's so many people cramming their shoulder to shoulder. He's like, I don't know if I can go.
I can get it too.
And I was like, what's nervous kidney? And I'm just sitting there peeing. I was a kid. I was like, ah. And he goes, it's tough to go. And then I thought something was wrong with them. But it happens, people. The bathroom is saturated with gender in fascinating ways, says Mr. Halsman, a professor of psychology at the University of Melbourne, who noted that women's aversion, particularly at work, is not entirely unfounded. One unpublished study he mentioned in his book found that a woman who excused herself to go to the bathroom was evaluated more negatively than one who excused herself to tend to paperwork. While there was no difference in the way participants were viewed as men, which I find that to be an insanely hilarious result, because anytime anyone here says, I got to go use the restroom, if you just say that, immediately it's, how long are you going to be gone there? Snow cone, where are you going to be? And the snow cone says, don't turn the lights off. Because we
do it every
turn the lights
time.
off here, it gets really
But
dark
I
in there.
do also, I would say I evaluate everyone negatively.
If they're going to the bathroom?
Yeah, if I'm in like a
Restroom?
big corporate meeting, they're like, excuse me, I have to use the restroom. I'm always like, just go before you get in here.
Yeah.
Or hold it. What's wrong with you?
But what
and
do you
I know there's IBS and those types of things, but men or women, I'm just like, ugh.
But what about, would you think differently if let's say you had a cubicle, you had 3 cube mates, and let's say that...
I don't know that I would care who's pooping, or I wouldn't keep track of who's pooping.
Okay, so if the girl just says, I got to use the restroom, excuse me, and she's gone for a while,
I wouldn't think
and it's
about
just
it.
you and the guys left behind, that you won't be like, oh my God.
No.
She poops at work every day. She's got to be pooping in there.
Women, we don't care if you poop.
I don't.
And we don't care if you wear the same dress every day. We don't. You know who cares?
Other women.
Other women. So deal with each other. Leave us out of it. Other women are talking about how much you destroy that bathroom in there, not us.
Mm-hmm.
We don't care. And other women are talking about how you wear the same little dress Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. You know who didn't notice? Me.
Mm-hmm.
Don't care.
One woman said...
Now, that may bother you at the end even more, because you're going to find out that the truth of the matter is men really don't care about you.
It said that...
They don't. They don't. We don't care. Go poo, whatever. I'm not interested. I'm just trying to get through the day.
One woman
who was
interviewed said that women are
That
supposed
doesn't
to
mean
be
I don't care about you in
non-poopers.
general. and the women that you love. I'm just saying we don't. This is going to sound bad. We're not as fixated on you as you think we are.
And in other ways,
I don't notice. I have no idea who goes. Have you ever noticed any woman in this place going to the bathroom? Or walking in the bathroom and thought twice about it? No. Never. In my I've been here for 20 years. I've never thought about it. Never. Never thought, I wonder what they're going to do. Do they have to poop? No, I've never thought about it. I have thought about it with guys. Because I'm like, I don't want to go in there now because I can't have anywhere to pee.
Thought you were like, I sit there and imagine what it looks like when he takes his
No, but I'm like, if two
down.
guys walk in there, I'm like, well, the whole damn thing's full now. Forget it. I'll wait. Well, that's the only time you ever think about it.
This woman that was being interviewed said women are supposed to be non-poopers.
Women, we know you poop. You're fine.
They say for most of history, it would seem they've fallen in line, adopting all sorts of creative ways to avoid mention, interference, acknowledgement, or, God forbid, smell, even when inside the bathroom. But I would say that, and look, I can't know, and I'm not saying that it's as bad for men, because you're telling me it's worse, I'll believe you. I would just say that we worry about that as guys, too, to a certain extent. You don't want to walk out of the restroom and some guy's walking in and
of course
you just wrecked the place and now,
of course.
That's embarrassing. So we worry about that stuff too. And at least us here at work, we try and hide from one another. I know that we try and be very, 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 very inconspicuous. Yeah. No one says I'm going to the bathroom. You try and find the basement one. There's like a hidden bathroom in this building and several people know about it. And one day I found my way down there through a series of passageways and hidden doors. I found my way down there, and I get to the entrance of the bathroom. As I'm about to walk in, one of our coworkers walks out, and he looks at me and goes, "It's all yours." What did he say? No. He said, "The throne is all yours." And I went, "Oh." I think I literally said, I'm here for paper towels. That's what I said. I was like, I'm looking for paper towels. I just walked in from out there, mess in my car, spilled some pop. Well, I get what you're talking about, though. Poop, and I get it. Yeah. No, I already did that this morning. Well, good seeing you. I admit, I made up an excuse and said, no. Because there's only one reason people find their way to that hidden spot, and it is because they are embarrassed to poop around their coworkers. And that's the guys'
like
thing.
A little bit of privacy.
Yeah. So
I don't like to waste some time in there.
Yeah.
So but women, we don't care if you're pooping. We don't care.
Nope.
There's not a guy who cares. I promise you.
Nope.
We just don't care.
Well, I can't promise you that there's not a guy who cares, but for the most part, we don't care. And it is another just example of what Lazlo's talking about where, and I'm sure, and we know both genders do this. I'm not accusing women of doing this more than men in any way. I think it could definitely be equal. It could be that men do it more. I don't know. But every time you read something where they say, all right, let's do a survey here. What is something that women do that you don't care about? Or what is something that really does get your attention from a woman? That we learn every time that a lot of the stuff we are doing, whatever gender, to try and get attention from the other gender is kind of a waste of time. What we think is going to help us get attention from the other gender or deflect bad attention from the other gender is off. It's just because we've been told that, and it's somehow built into something maybe our parents taught us, our older siblings.
I like it when women go to the bathroom and poop for a long time.
I was going to say, there's probably some people who
I just
specifically do care in a good way. Mm-hmm. Oh, my God.
Go in there. Quit chatting it up.
That's definitely enough for
you
today.
Blah, 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 blah.
That's
Shut up.
definitely enough for you today. Good day, sir. Love you.
What, did I do something wrong?
It's just enough. That was enough.
All right, well, I apologize if I've offended.
You didn't offend. I just think that's enough. Snow Cone, would you agree?
With the talking.
You want to give him more rope?
We're getting towards the end here. Yeah.
With the talking, you know what I'm saying? With all the talk.
Right.
Yeah.
If somebody gets up and goes to the bathroom, the talking stops.
Love you guys.
All right, love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
I don't know what I did.
Hopefully. Okay, yeah.
The Church of Lazlo on 96.5 The Buzz.